Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Harebrained Games, the Week in Games. And what a week or two or three it's been since I've last done a Week in Games. We live in very interesting times, don't we? Locally, we're shutting down a little bit because COVID seems to be on the rise, a few more peaked cases, and into storm season, so I'm trying to do this before the first big storm appears to be reaching landfall on Friday. Storms here in the Pacific Northwest are usually wind, trees get knocked down, power goes out, occasional floods, but in general, it's nothing like some other parts of the world get. So we count our blessings. Christmas means more board games are rolling in. We're seeing a lot more shipping and a lot more board game sales. We're going to get our Target deals and our Amazon deals and all that stuff. Black Friday, who knows what it'll be this year, but I'm sure the online portion will remain the same or better. My son got into TIG welding. He got a TIG welder. He'd been doing welding on the side, but he decided to get into go into the big boy club for TIG welding, and he decided that the easiest thing you can do as a TIG welder is to weld a dice. And so I now have check this baby out. Titanium six-sided die. That's right. Yeah, this sucker is heavy. When this baby rolls for initiative, you just get out of the way. So I'm pretty stoked about that. That's a cool gift. So yeah, even better with magnets. But yeah, so if anybody's interested in titanium die, there's naturally a thriving market. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe you did too. Let's get to the news. Osprey Games, you'll know them from Undaunted Normandy and Undaunted North Africa, has a funny, curious little game called Village Green. It's a delightfully charming game about building rural floral displays. It looks cleverish, sort of like an arboretum kind of vibe, and it's budget priced and something the wife might like. So, but for me, I admit I may get it, but chances are it's kind of a lawn shot. So a game came out 4 years ago called Commissioned, which was basically a game of spreading the gospel in apostolic times. It was generally well received, pretty well polished, and I enjoyed it. It's coming out with a new expansion on Kickstarter called The Call. It includes 2 more heroes, heroines of the faith. You also get a solo play for those of you who these days seem to be needing solo play. It seems to be on the trend upwards. And it also has a deck building twist to it. This is something that was initially, there was a light deck building kind of vibe in the original, but this seems to have expanded it and stretched it to be more compelling and more impacting on gameplay. Also a budget price, so if you get a chance, you might want to check out Commissioned The Call on Kickstarter. Finally, those of you who love llamas the way I love llamas, because who doesn't love a llama, might be interested in a game called Pachacuna. Now, this takes you and your trusty llama on a journey across a landscape of tiles. It's polarizing black and white sort of vibe that goes together. There's a spinning tiles kind of mechanism, and it's not your average llama level chill. It looks like there'll be some compelling, interesting gameplay. The idea being you collect 7 dies and you win. I know this is another one that I'm kind of on the fence about, though I hear gameplay wise it'll alpaca punch. Let's get right to the question of the week. So, I had an interesting discussion with my friends online the other day, and one of the topics was saturation, market saturation, board game saturation. Some of my friends feel that the board game phenomenon, the industry, and even their own purchasing penchants have reached kind of a saturation point, as in there's so much supply and so much inundation that demand is waning. Which I thought was interesting, and that's an interesting thing I'd like to get other people's thoughts on too, because, I mean, in this day and age, we have rapid-fire Kickstarters every single day or two there's a major Kickstarter for a major, for something pretty hefty. We're not talking $30 games anymore. We're talking $150 games, and tons of these are pouring in every day. I mean, I reflect back on around the 2000s to 2005 when I first got started into board gaming, and just what a different time it was. There were lots of periods of lull, waiting for the next big game to come out, and not a lot of, but some, a trickle here and there, and there'd be times when it'd be like, oh, it's summer, there's not a lot going on. Now, more than ever, it seems like we're never more than a few minutes away from the next great game. And these aren't bad games to me, although I tend to be pretty forgiving about games. I just enjoy having a good time, but it's interesting to see. It's the audience and the circumstances have changed such that, yeah, we really are I think we are, there is a little some saturation going on where we really are like, I could not buy everything I wanted to buy today the way I might have been able to buy things in the past, going, yeah, I'm going to buy this because the next game I want is going to be out in a couple months. No, it's like 2 days later, here it is. So in some ways it reminds me of video games. When I first got into video game development back in the mid-1990s, it was a different time. You had a shoestring budget, shoestring team, seat of the pants, no standardization or APIs or anything to be like, you were polish. Every video card that came out, you had to go figure out. Oh my gosh, and yet think about that, and then think about today. Over time, it grew into a video game industry and empire that rivals many other empires indeed, and it became a different thing. I learned over the course of 25 years now, wow, to adapt to it, to really, that I needed to adapt to it because all of that curve up came with benefits and drawbacks alike. I'm glad I don't have a cot next to my computer at work anymore, so we're not doing 40-day, death crunches. We're not worrying about having to pack a multiplayer real-time strategy game into 28.8 modem capabilities. Those days are gone. But on the other hand, we have an entirely different set of issues. I think, and I only guess, that board games have a similar curve going on. That again, this is off the cuff observation. I've done no intensive research. Maybe some of you have and can proffer some better thoughts. But I don't know. What do we think that the next few years of board gaming are evolving into? Not even just there's COVID, now there's board games, now we're focusing on solo. I think more solitary experiences are going to be the norm. But where have we reached saturation? Do we have? Clearly we're overwhelmed with games. I have more than I could ever play in a lifetime, which means I've sort of relegated myself to being a collector first and a player second. Even though my board gaming time is different, it is still pretty solid with just switching to solo plays and stuff. But I still get good times with my friends, so I still get a multiplayer thing. Anyway, I'm rambling, but let me know your thoughts and what you think. What do you think the industry is going to be like in a few years? And let's chat. Let's chat, shall we? All right, let's get to my 3 games. Oh, Merry Christmas! At least it's on its way. So my 3 games are going to have a theme. First off, whoosh, Santa! I know him! That's right, Elf. Elf the board game, not Elf on the Shelf. But Elf the board game with the adorable Buddy the Elf Mover is available at Target. And I picked this up, my daughter picked this up a couple nights ago for the low price of $17.99. It is a delightful little romp. I plan to do a review of this in the same way that I plan to do many things in life. We'll see if it comes to fruition. But for those of you who like the Triangle Box, I don't. Give this a shot, and we'll see if I can get a review on it to let you know if it was worth it to give it a shot. And come on, who doesn't like a little Home Alone? Now this one I got a couple months ago in anticipation of good times in the holidays. This is imagine a really simplified family version of Netrunner. Yeah, I'll leave you with that one to ponder. And finally, what Christmas is complete without you trouncing along in an abandoned spaceship, hoping not to die at the hands of aliens? That's right, Nemesis. Every Christmas caterer should get Nemesis. This game finally became available, and I snatched it up thanks to the all-cleansing power of online gift cards. And I just picked this up. I showed up yesterday. It is epic. Like 500 pieces. You can take a look behind me and see some of those pieces, but that too is deserving of mention. So hey, those are my three. Getting ready for Christmas themed games. Now let's get to Tim Machine. Harken back to the days of the 1970s. We're going, that's right, to 1977. I don't have the smooth voice of Casey Kasem, but I'll do my best. And these are our top 40 hits of 1977. Not really. The top story was the Commodore PET, which was, again, it's a computer thing, but I was stoked about it, and I think that was a pretty cool, albeit short-lived motivation. Top movie, no surprise there, Star Wars. Top invention was the space shuttle, and it was back to space, babes, back to space. So, top song, Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder, and the best-selling book, The Silmarillion, which I did manage to read through. Not quite as smooth as Lord of the Rings, but still mighty meaty. What did I play? I played a game called Dungeon every time my parents weren't looking, because they were very strict about such things, but I had a blast with it. And it's still at sale at Barnes & Noble today. It's still available, like all these years later. Is it a great game? No, but it was a great game then. What game would I have bought if I had known then what I know now? Well, Cosmic Encounter. I think we're already on Cosmic Encounter 3. I just got Cosmic Encounter Duel, which came out this year. Like, yeah, I would have done that. What game did I want to play? War of the Ring. I was such a Tolkien fan, still am, just a huge Tolkien fan, so War of the Ring would have been the one I'd wanted to play if I could have afforded it at 7 years old, although I don't know how well I would have grokked it anyway, being that young of age. Okay, now let's move to 1978. Top story, not nearly as lighthearted, the Guyana tragedy, the Jonestown Massacre, wherein 900 people took their lives in a cult mass killing, bringing on the ultimate and still used drinking the Kool-Aid metaphors galore. Top movie, The Deer Hunter. Didn't watch it. Still haven't watched it. You can let me know what I missed. Top invention, a little esoteric, but the test tube baby. Yep, that's right. Can happen. Song, Saturday Night Fever. Yep, my big sister was into that. I just couldn't. Yeah, I was more into the Goody Comb phase. A book, Eye of the Needle by Ken Follett, who went on to write some other series such as Pillars of the Earth, of which there are games already available. Board games up there, I think there's one. What did I play? This is kind of a cheat, but I played Merlin. Yeah, that's right, the little red elfkin that was all the rage then. No, it wasn't technically a board game, but it was the closest thing I could get to it that year, and I played the snot out of that, because it had so many different games, not just tic-tac-toe. Who knew tic-tac-toe could be gamed so easy? What game would I have bought if I had known then what I know now? Strike Team Alpha? Yeah, I would definitely have been totally into it. And what game did I want to play? And I don't think anyone would ever guess, but I really wanted to play Little House on the Prairie. Yes, I was really big into that. I really liked Michael Landon. I still think he was a quality, classy guy, and I really liked his shows at the time. And I still think, going back and watching it again, that I still have great fond memories of both his Little House on the Prairie and his Highway to Heaven series. I think he was gone too soon, and yeah, I'm sure the game would have stunk, but I probably would have played the crap out of it anyway. And that's it. That's what we have for this week. I thank you all again, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Harebrained Games.